Templeman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley. Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Higgins. Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Williams. Here. Senator Washburn. Here. Senator Freshour. Here. Senator Mosley.
Which one?
Mosley.
There's.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Senator Garrison.
Here.
Senator Method.
Here.
Senator Vaughn.
Here.
Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Here. Senator Romero. Senator Daniel.
Here.
Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Fruit.
Here.
Senator Jackson.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Mazzock. Here. Senator Mosley. Okay. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Agudello. Senator Hart. Senator Strong. Here. Senator Copeland.
Here.
Senator Seeley. Here.
Is there any discussion over last week's minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving last week's minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? For speaker's podium, we have 2 guests. And so first I'm going to open up the floor to open forum. If there's anyone here for that. None? Okay. Chris, you're up first.
I have to introduce myself every time I come up here. Chris Nafredi. I was a former senator, for some of you who know me. So for the reason I'm here today is because I'm also now the president of the Council of Student Presidents. So a little preface to that. So the council was created under Divya when she was president last year. It was actually a committee under SGA. It was the court, or not the court. It was the Student President's Council. So that's what it was about. We had meetings with each student organization president, and all we did was pretty much try to create events, create some traditions, stuff like that. So now, it was called the court last semester when I took it over, and the whole idea of it was try to get people involved, all the student organizations together, and try to come up with ideas, kind of try to do stuff together, try to find issues. Now we're restructuring it into the council again. Go figure yourself. So the main reason I wanted to be here was just to bring up some issues. I don't want you guys to think that you guys have to support it or whatever. If you want to support it, go ahead, you can discuss it. I know how it works, so I don't want an endorsement for anything at all. But here are some things that was discussed in our last meeting last week. Most of it is about Astra. Of course, those of you who know what Astra is, it's a very, it's how you book rooms and stuff for your organization. But I'm gonna start off from the top. One thing is on-campus activity events. So there's issues with registering for spaces, as I mentioned before. There's too many people to go through, too many loops to go through, too many people you have to talk to for certain cases. Like if you want food on campus, you have to do this whole thing on Astra where you gotta open up this link and you have to fill in the food form. And if they don't have the food form approved, you have to go to the food vendor and you have to call them. And all the student leaders think it'd be better if it was just one thing, a one-stop shop for on-campus events. And another thing is SGAC. It was brought up. A lot of student leaders don't know about SGAC. They don't know the process. They're unfamiliar with it. I know we have the website about it. I know you guys try your best to bring it out. I know Student Life tries to do their best to inform student leaders how to do this. But a lot of these new student leaders, a lot of these new student organizations that start up, they don't have that access. They don't know how to get there. They don't know how to look at it. So maybe something we all need to work on together. And flyers. Advertisement has been an issue that's been going on ever since I've known. Like, I've always been a student leader for the past 3 years. Flyers, advertisements, it's very difficult to get people on campus to go to your events, even though they're on campus. The flyer locations aren't doing it. The ones on the lake by the library, the ones in front of PHPR, I know, and the UC has plenty of options, but a lot of times these people don't look at them, or they just don't see them. So there's some complaints about that. I don't know if you guys knew about it, but there's actually a spot in front of the UC Met. You can put a banner on it on the wall across the UC patio. There's like little spots, but I didn't know about it either. But apparently, student organizations had access to it at one point, and now they don't. And now that was brought up to my attention that now Greek Live and other student organizations actually want access to these banners and general advertising stuff. So if we could revamp that, I know we were going over the app last year, or 2 years ago. Time escapes me sometimes, but we had an app that we were discussing that I really think we should keep pushing that and bring that back up. And I know that this app, for you guys who don't know about it, it was like a whole bunch of different systems together. It was like the emergency system, it was events, a whole lot of others. Like you could go and do other things that had school related, student related things that you could do all at once. I think that would be another thing we could try to. Hey, I guess you guys could endorse that. Bring that back up to your attention. And the alumni house, I didn't know we could actually register our events inside the alumni house. Student leaders actually want to improve that system. I know there's fairly a cost after 5 p.m. to clean up, and they weren't aware of that. And now to Astra, the big one. Everybody hates Astra apparently. Student leaders hate Astra. We need to revamp that. They have an issue with the 2 weeks prior notice. They would like it shortened down to at least a week. They would like to have reserving rooms easier for when the semester starts. And meeting for the second week of school can't be done for a lot of these student organizations. Also in Astra, for those who don't know, there's actually a box where you have to click if you want the door unlocked. And everybody can come to a consensus that's ridiculous if you book the room and you have to check this box if you want security to unlock it. That makes any sense. It really doesn't to me. And there's a lot of student organizations that actually have off-campus advisors, such as the Wesley Foundation. A lot of the religious organizations have off-campus advisors, and they would like to have their advisors added on to Astra if they could. That would help out them a lot easier. So those are all the issues that we went over in our meeting. Maybe I can come back every now and then. I don't know if you guys want to hear me talk all the time, but I like to hear myself talk every now and then. But yeah, if there's any questions, I guess. Hit me with your best shot.
So, I mean, I know enough about Astra, I don't know how it works, but I don't know enough about it to understand, like, who to talk to about that. Do you know, I mean, who is the person that we would, if we did endorse or whatever, do anything, what would then be the next step?
I think that's a Josh question.
Josh?
It falls under me, student board. Some of the issues you complain, I've been fighting since I've been
Right.
and things have improved. They're not where I want them to be. For example, 2 weeks. The 2 weeks is in place because we have academic affairs needs more time. As y'all know, space is an issue. We have a lot of students. We have very limited class spaces. So academic affairs needs as much time as possible to do your classroom assignment. What ends up happening is usually the week before school and technically the week of, a lot of classrooms are sometimes switched. And some of y'all may have experienced that. You had a class that was listed on one thing, and then all of a sudden by the end of the week, you're in a different classroom. And so there's a lot of different factors for that. But I've been actively trying to push to open reservations at least a semester in advance. I think that's the most good opportunity for student groups. I know because they want to meet sometimes even a week before school starts. They want to get going. The upside to waiting to 2 weeks before school starts to start accepting requests is Region schools clearly express that I have to have student groups be registered. That's a region rule and an institution policy. So sometimes we have groups that will submit space requests and then don't go through the registration process. And so we're trying to accommodate what student groups are wanting, but at the same time we're trying to find that balance between academic affairs and what is acceptable. I do think Asher is still relatively new. We're still in our, I think, third year of using it. I used to be a paper request. So now you're able to request space from anywhere. And so I think there's still improvements that can be made to it, and that's feedback from you. Like the classroom, I agree with you. If you're reserving space, it should probably be unlocked no matter what. I think the reason why that's in place is because some groups like having a lock of students that get there. They don't want to wait for PD. And so typically the classrooms are locked until the reservation is. But if you check yes, that means let's police department know that they need to do a walkthrough and have it. As far as our off-campus advisors, I don't see that really changing because they have to be a registered student, faculty, staff to request space. We really prefer that the students submit it, just so that way it's submitted. That's kind of touched on a little bit of other areas, but if we really want to try to tackle, the 2 weeks, I think student government could make a recommendation to our office, the Department of Student Life and Student Affairs, to try to change that. And I think that's up to the student government or the student board presidents to decide. I personally would like a semester in advance, as long as they follow the prescribed guidelines. But that's I need more feedback, I need more involvement from students to really try to convince other key players that have a little space to change their minds. But we've come a long way. I used to be a lot worse, especially my first year. But we're constantly trying to make it better for students.
Any more questions? So the council will be meeting monthly, and this is open for everybody. Anybody who's in a student org, it's going to be a monthly meeting. We'll send out a doodle again to see what works best. We also have e-board positions. We're making committees. So actually Chris Thompson's here, but one of our committees involves him in outreach. So if any of you guys want to be involved, just contact Chase, Ragland, or myself, and get you hooked up. Thank you, guys.
And Chris and John.
I am, is it supposed to stand here?
Yeah.
I'm Chris Thompson. I'm the Assistant Director of Kansas Rec. I'm specifically in charge of doing outdoor adventures, aquatics, and also run our program assessment. This is John Ragland. She is my outdoor adventure program assistant, and she's helped me start the student trip leader program. So we'll both talk about a couple things. So here's a survey. Can you guys see? Oh.
Zoom out.
Nice. Okay, so we do a lot of surveys. I know.
Zoom back in just a little bit.
You tell me when.
Oh, that's good. Can everybody see that?
Okay, so I know you guys do a lot of surveys too. It's really hard to get a lot of responses. So we have like I don't know if it's a loophole or what, but we get to access all the student emails because we get sent a file and we upload it into Active, which is our rec sports facility registration, activity enrollment, general membership operations for the HPC. So we send out an email to everybody. We offer incentives to complete it. In 2014, we got 569 responses. That's pretty good for us. We were cool with it. And so this is just asking students, if you were improving and expanding recreational facilities, which of the following would be important to you? There's a bunch of options here, but the main one I want to focus on is right here. Climbing wall. That's our most requested. Point 2, in 2016, we did the same survey, got 611 responses. which is great. And I would like to bring your attention down to climbing walls. The next highest, or it was the highest, and the second highest one, just like last year and the next year, is adding a juice bar. But we're not here to talk about juice bars. We're here to talk about rock walls. Same thing for 2017. We had our highest number of responses, 702, and we had the same thing. Not as many as usual, but still the highest number of students requesting climbing walls. So I say all that to say our job at Rec Sports is to serve students. And so the response that we've been receiving year after year is adding a climbing wall. We've gotten quotes to add a climbing wall to the HPC. All of those quotes have been denied by the VP and facilities. But there's a climbing rock wall in Tyler Rock Gym. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we've got in contact with them probably early last fall, and they opened up in November. So on behalf of UT Tyler, I worked with the legal department, everyone involved, but we have an agreement with them that UT Tyler students between 12 to 5, Monday through Friday, get a discounted entry rate. So typically if you were to go, you wanted to climb and rent gear, it would be like $27 plus tax, so upwards of $30. If you go as a UT Tyler student during 12 to 5, it's $10 to get in. If you wanted to rent the equipment package, it would be $5 extra from the facility. But UT Tyler started a rock climbing program about 2 years ago. So we have a small inventory of about 7 harnesses, 13 pairs of shoes, and 2 chalk bags. So even now we rent out climbing equipment to students for $1 each. Right now they can rent it for 2 days. So if they go climbing back to back, they're gonna save $8, which is great though, plus the discount. So it really adds up quickly. But that's kind of the history of the Tyler Rock Gym and UT Tyler Rec Sports. We have a web page. I don't know if you want me to pull it up. That's too much. So we did create a web page to help students. I'm not sure if it's accessed that often. Well, let's make it happen. So anyways, this lays out everything for you guys. Nice. And so it has all the info there. The guys at the Rock Gym are super easy to work with. I would like going forward to have a contract in place because right now they could rescind this deal at any time. But that's something that I don't have the time or manpower to coordinate. So that might be something you guys would be interested in. So we say all of that to say we started a rock climbing club. We have 18 members and the word is just barely getting out. So I can see this being a large scale club. We have submitted all of our documents to student orgs at about 4:45 today, but they're in there. So we're waiting to hear back, but that department's really slow. Just kidding. So we started the rock climbing club. We want to try to make this as affordable to students as possible. John and I just got back from the Texas Outdoor Leadership Conference, which was at Sam Houston State. All of the schools in the state of Texas who have outdoor programs meet. So there's Baylor, A&M, UT Austin, SMU, Texas Tech, TCU, Sam Houston State. So many schools that get together and have massive programs. All of their thriving departments are centered around climbing walls. So in my self-interest for trying to have a good outdoor program, I'm trying to kind of steal the Rock Gym's climbing wall and make our community grow from there because we don't have one on campus. So yeah, and that's the climbing club, and we have an upcoming trip.
So we have a Tyler Rock Gym trip coming up on February the 24th. It is open to all students. It is $5 a person. That includes all the gear, 2 hours of climbing, which is more than enough. lunch will be provided, but we wanted to extend the opportunity for SGA to be a part of it, maybe use it as like a team building exercise. And so those of you who haven't been, who may not want to shell out the money to go during the weekday or the weekends or whatnot, it is on a Saturday. You guys can come in for pretty cheap price, get to see what the Rock Gym is all about, get to kind of meet with us personally and kind of see if it would be something that you guys would be interested in.
Yeah.
What was the date again?
February 24th.
Yeah, and so this event is open to all students. The great thing about it being so close, we don't have to worry about university transportation. We don't have to worry about any max enrollments. So you guys could all sign up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, what time on the 24th?
It starts at 10, and so we'll actually be there from 10 to 4. But when you go in, we're paying for your entry. So they sell day pass memberships. So if you go in at 10, stick around until I bring pizza, grab lunch, go do whatever you want to, you can still come back, and it's covered. But yeah, so this is a great opportunity for you guys to check out the Rock Gym for $5. Spread the word. You have to enroll through Active, which you can just contact the HPC to get that information out. But we want to have a lot of students coming to check this place out. And the reason we want you guys to come is we want to potentially ask for support in whatever way you guys could offer it. I know that there's specific rules, the way you guys can, I don't think we can just ask for money, but an interesting potential senator project could be purchasing outdoor climbing equipment. And so we could buy bulk harnesses, shoes, chalk bags at a discounted price just for UT Tyler students. We have an outdoor rental center inventory, so we already house some of this equipment. But obviously, if students are really interested, in saving, I would love to say you guys can check this equipment out for free, provided by SGA, for up to 2 weeks. That way we can serve a lot of students, and then they can still bring the equipment back in our regular procedures. But yeah,
With the trip in general on the 24th, is it like the other outdoor, like is there gonna be a cap of like how many people?
I don't think, I'll probably keep it open to like 50, which is a lot, and I don't anticipate that. But yeah, if you can get 51 people, I will make room for that, Yeah, we have a pre-trip meeting. It's like a week and a half before.
It's on the 14th.
Yeah, so you guys just have to come to that and sign all the paperwork.
What time is the pre-trip meeting?
That will be at 4 p.m. on the 14th, but you have to sign up before you can go to that. I know. You can do that online or come by my office. You know where I work.
Yeah, all that information is online, and like Chris says, you can always go to his office, or I'm downstairs in the rental center. I can also sign you up and answer any questions.
So if you were just to go to Outdoor Adventures schedule, you can see this schedule right here, and it says Tyler Rock Gym. You just click that link, and it takes you to all the information that you could possibly ever need. But yeah, that's pretty much the pitch. You guys should come check it out. Do you have a question?
You can't attend the February 14th meeting.
So you just have to come by and meet with us beforehand. So you couldn't meet after the 15th or the 14th.
Okay.
But yeah, at that time you have class or something like that. Yeah, we can work that out. Does anybody have any questions about the Rock Gym? Or did anybody think it was very impressive about all the data that we collected? Lots of head nods for the record.
So it is a student like day pass. We haven't necessarily come up with, or it's not necessarily possible at the moment for like a month, because I know they have like monthly or yearly memberships.
They do.
Is that
And
kind of what I was hoping for? Like maybe the student yearly discount, but I mean,
Right,
it's a
yeah.
new thing, so.
I mean, that is something that I've been trying to talk. The owners are very friendly. They're very understanding. They've been great to extend this to us on just like a goodwill. I have kind of hit a roadblock with myself. So I've asked them for yearly discounts for students already. That's something we're working with the Rock Club. If you join the Rock Club, they're going to give you a special discount. From here, we'll be able to host bouldering and rock climbing competitions, which is just great to put UT Tyler out there. We'll be inviting schools from Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana to come and help. Just it really expands the UT Tyler name. Yeah.
What about group rate skills? I'm already trying to push my student veteran script that I'm involved. I'm already trying to push that. See how we can go to the TRG.
Right now, your best option would be to come on my trip for the cheapest rate. But you just have to talk to the Rock Gym right now. You know, we don't have anything in place for group signups. Cool. Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Matt. I'll start with officer reports now. Very fun trip down to Austin for our UT SAC meeting. Did a lot of getting everything prepped for the finalization of all of our documents that we're going to send to the board in May for their meeting. Things involving CAT memo and a couple of other key areas as far as advising, textbooks, a lot of stuff that we worked on, lots of interesting stuff. Once that gets more finalized, I'll let all of y'all know exactly what we're recommending. Savannah is not here. She's working with Camry for some swoop camp and orientation leader training and will be gone today, but she said to make sure that everybody get with her to if they needed anything. And so, Abby, Secretary McDaniel, would you please go over your officer report?
I don't have much, just a reminder that my candidacy meeting is on next Tuesday from 12 to 1. So if you want to campaign for your officer elections, schedule your thing soon. That's all I got.
Treasurer McLeod.
Okay, well, this week I've just been working on preparing the budget that I'll be going over later in the meeting. And I went to UT SAC with him, and I had a good old time. That's all I got to talk about right now.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
All right, so I'm just going to reiterate what we've been saying about elections. Candidacy meetings are February 12th and 13th from 12 to 1. So they're going to be really short, so it's probably okay if y'all just want to show up sometime during that hour. Preston and Abby will be available during those times to meet with y'all. And you cannot campaign until you have that meeting. So if you're running for an officer position and you never go for a candidacy meeting, you can't campaign. So that's why those are really important. The applications are on the website. There's not like a specific deadline. You just have to have it in before the candidacy meeting. That way you're actually like filed, and then you go to your candidacy meeting, and then you can actually campaign. So if I had to recommend a deadline, I would say probably Friday. So then we have some time to look over it, make sure you're eligible for the position. And yeah, that's it.
Committee reports. Did anyone get appointed to go over student life by Savannah? Okay. I don't think they met, so that's fine. If anyone needs to figure out which committee that they're in, please see me afterwards, and we'll get with Savannah throughout the week and make sure everybody's assigned to a committee. Communications?
We also didn't meet this week because of just some miscommunication. But we will meet on Tuesday, 12:30, just right outside the C3400. To whoever said that they're going to be in my committee, just come there and we'll get started.
SGAC?
We met last Thursday in the math club. We approved $430 for the math club for food for their meetings. We also approved $500 for the Patriot Catholic Society, and that's for the Mardi Gras event on February 12th from 6 to 10 on Harvey Day.
Rules?
So we did meet this week. We had a new committee member, so we just kind of went over a lot of the stuff that we did last semester. And then our focus moving forward is going to be writing the ballot, because we're restructuring it a little bit, and also have to potentially put a tuition part on there as well. We're meeting Mondays at 2 o'clock, with the exception of a few where I'll be gone for golf, but I'll let my committee members know if there's gonna be a cancellation.
Student affairs?
We did not meet this week. I'm probably gonna be needing to move committees myself, so we'll work with you guys and let you know about that.
At this point, is there any old business? Treasurer McLeod?
Motion to present my budget proposal.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to present the budget proposal. Any discussion?
Okay, what is in this hand? Okay, I think that's good. Can everybody see everything? This one.
What?
Oh, there it is. Okay, hey everybody, I'm going to be presenting, let's go over the budget. Nothing's changed since I presented it last. We haven't had any expenses other than a purchase in small events with just $45. So you can just get a good idea. Right now, we have $23,445 remaining. So that I'm going to go to this, and this is the percentage breakdown of it. Okay. And so overall, we have 74% of our budget remaining. We're still working on that. We have a few things that we're going to spend some more money on, some marketing items and some events coming up. And so it's just pretty much all the same. We have some blank things, but we have elections coming up. We have a few center projects in the works possibly. And that's all for that right there. And so here is my proposal. This is all I really want to talk about. So last semester I presented this to y'all, and we're not going to be voting on this today, but we will be. I changed a few things. I just want y'all to be aware of that. So we'll probably vote on it next week. So I'm just going to go over like I did last time. So in SGA training, it's a 33% decrease because we've only used about $300 on that so far. I don't think we can use all the $1,500, so I think just lowered that and moved it around. And for Constitution Week, we haven't used any of that, but I'm not going to change that because we may have some more plans for next year. And SJC, we've spent more than half of that so far in this 2 semesters. So I want to do a 24% increase in that, mostly because, as I've said, we've improved the use more than half of our funds in fall 2017 alone, and we are on track to use the entire budget line. So just because we'll have more students next year and more student organizations and more involvement, I don't want to be constrained by a smaller budget, which we're already having issues with. So by the end of the year, we'll see how that goes, but I just want to have a 24% increase because I think it's a good idea. As for elections, it's a 0% increase. I don't think we need more or less money at the moment. Center projects, no increase. Last year we had 5,000. We didn't use all of that, so I think we should just keep it how it is. Small events, as I said before, I decreased that completely because we're moving it to events next semester, so we don't have to be constrained with it, like to determine if it's a small or a large event. We can just use the entire events line. And so as for SGA marketing, it used to be a 200% increase, but I decided to do a 100% increase because I felt that was sort of excessive, and I think $2,000 is enough for that. SJ Gibson Award, no increase. Large events is a 22% increase because I moved the $1,000 from small events and increased it as well. And so, like I said before with SJC, pretty much we're going to have a larger student body, more involvement, and more plans next year. So I think we should have a larger budget as well. And phone charges, 22% decrease. It used to be just $720. I don't know why it's up to $1020. but in case that moves around up above 720, I'm just gonna keep it at 800 just in case. So as for office expenses, it's a 41% decrease. I think $600 is enough. We've spent, we have 80% remaining, and we cannot, it's very difficult to spend $1,000 on office supplies. So I think $600 is enough. And satellite campus projects, no change. Maintenance, no change. And conference registration membership fees, 25% decrease because I believe we are not part of any national organization. We don't have any membership dues next year. So I decided to bring it down to 1,000 so we can still use it for some things that may come up. And as for travel, I took the $20 off. I don't know why there was this extra $20. It doesn't really make a difference. So it's just a 1% decrease. And yeah, and overall, it's an only increase of $2,211. Last time I presented it, it was about a 9% increase, but now it is a 7% increase. I think that's a little bit better. And it's just up to y'all, what y'all want. Y'all can recommend some changes to me in the coming week. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about.
Are there any questions at this point for Treasurer McLeod? Secretary McDaniel?
This is more probably for you, Josh. Can we, like, for the upcoming seniors in SGA, can any of this budget go towards, like, the Stoles or Cords? I mean, it doesn't have to be, like, for the upcoming people. Like, a little bit of the budget will go towards whoever seniors are graduating this upcoming year.
You just pull that out of the yes and awards line.
Yeah.
Sure. So if there's not enough in that line, then I really, as far as I'm not the budget authority, but as far as my general practice, I try to stick with the line. But the fee committee has allotted us and what we told the fee committee that we're going to use. I try not to go over that.
Yeah.
Period. And so, but when it's the end of the fiscal year, then there is some wiggle room where we could spend for another line. For the most part, I try to stay with the lines as far as what's allotted.
Yeah.
Souls and come out of the yes and awards.
How much have you used?
There's plenty. We should have run out.
We have a high inventory still.
How much did we use so far?
So 100% remaining.
Oh.
Senator Freshour.
I think I asked this last semester when you presented it, and I think I already kind of forgot what the answer was. But what classifies as like events in general again? Like when we helped out with the not the dance, the thing, formal. Is that like an event where that money like would be used for?
It could, but I don't think we use any of our funds for that. So, but like events like Midnight Breakfast, I think that's what classifies as events.
Okay.
Just for clarification, it's anything that's outside of the meeting. So anytime that we host something that we require for y'all to be at, it's not a meeting, would be an event.
So
Secretary McDaniel.
we make this rock climbing thing, and can we make that an event and use a budget towards that? I'm just trying to use the budget.
Good, yeah. So, don't overspend that line. The companies, but really the large events for the student body, small events more for events for student body.
Yeah.
Or if it's, you can even make an argument that's training. If you want to make a training out of it, that's sort of development.
Team bonding.
You can use the training line. And I have to see some sort of training, I won't prove it. Just go have fun and these development.
We can help each other off the wall.
Any other questions?
Okay, that's all.
Is there any other old business? None? At this point, is there any new business? Parliamentary Higgin.
I move to endorse and request the university look into an official agreement with the Tyler Rock Gym.
Second.
Wait.
It's been motioned and seconded that the university to endorse the process of looking into a contract,
Endorse and
endorse and request that the university agree to a discounted rate for students at the Tyler Rock Gym. That's sufficient. All right. Josh.
Prefer you keep it broad, don't specify company. Because if it's a contract, we have to go out to bid. And with multiple companies that have to work on how long they are,
They're the only provider, so that would be a unique service, which would, if I'm understanding, since we can deem them a unique service, we don't have to take it out to bid.
Depends on what those parameters are. I don't prefer, for the sake of conversation and action.
Okay.
Just, can I just respond?
Yes.
So just from what Chris Thompson was saying, it seemed to me like the agreement and partnership was already there. They just need an official contract from the university to like make it stick. So do you think it would be okay in that sense to specify Tyler Rock Gym?
Yes.
Okay.
You have the floor technically still.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think that it's a really good idea. I think it's a service that a lot of students would benefit from. And not to mention it's like super fun, and it's something that we could really endorse as an SGA that, you know, it's kind of unique. I don't know of many other universities that have discounted rates at things like that. So yeah, if we could help out in any way we could by, you know, getting them to get a contract that would actually, you know, make that partnership stick, I think that we should do it.
Senator Mosley.
I like this idea. I actually know the owners. I go climb there a lot. It's a great facility. I actually see a lot of UT Tyler students go use that facility. And it actually is great. A great facility.
Senator Sweet.
I think we should get involved with SGA. Like, I remember when he was speaking, he said, you guys should come out. We should make it kind of a public event, but, you know, show everybody involved.
Are you saying that we should go as SGA?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry,
Secretary McDaniel.
can I just get clarification on what we're doing again? We're endorsing and requesting the university. What?
Finalize a contract for a discounted rate at a rock climbing facility.
Monthly, yearly wise?
Yes. Okay. Discounted rate can be at any of those time intervals. Is that worded sufficiently enough for you, Josh? Okay. Senator Robertson?
I was just going to say, I think it's a really good idea. It's a way to reach out to the community as well as Tyler rather than just sticking to campus grounds. It would also give them greater advertising. Are they open yet? Are they open?
He said they opened in November.
Then yeah, I think it could be something that could be good.
At this point, I'm kind of hearing a consensus that we'd like to look into the ability to use it ourselves, which I think is a separate conversation. And so I just want to make that notice that we're not really following the general motion that was made. So we can discuss that in a different section of business as well. Secretary McDaniel.
I guess going off of this motion, I feel like we maybe should discuss or see the gym as SGA as a whole within like a team bonding activity or something. And then we can come back with this motion and see if people like the idea of the gym, then we can request a contract for a discounted rate. Because if people are like, oh, it wasn't worth it, this could be a different conversation. So going based off the motion, maybe we should
So you're requesting
table
a table?
this until we can create this as a team bonding activity. I feel like will be good for SGA and attend that little event. If we can figure out how we can go about stuff.
So we motion to table.
Yeah.
All right. Secretary McDaniel has motioned to table the motion at hand until we have been able to actually see and determine the credibility of the facility. Is Second. All right, that's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in approve of tabling the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Is there any other new business? Treasurer McLeod.
Motion to approve new senators.
Second. It's been motioned and seconded to approve new senators for swearing. Is there any discussion? None. Right, I know. I'm just making sure I have that. Okay. If you would just kind of give like a general introduction. And then,
Hi everyone, my name is Marissa Mendez. I would like to be the senator of the College of Arts and Sciences. I consider myself to be a responsible and a dedicated person. I would like to be able to help others about the concerns that they might have on campus. Also, it's a way for me to get to know more people on campus and interact, as I want to be a dentist, so it might help me learn more, get some more leadership skills as well, and I'm considered to be a senior.
Maritza. All right. Is there any discussion over the swearing candidate? Treasurer McLeod.
Okay, I've known Maritza since 2003. We went to school together forever, and I consider her to be a really dedicated and very intelligent individual, and I think she'd be a really good senator, and yeah, she'd be wonderful here.
And she requested to be a part of the College of Arts and Sciences in the email she sent me. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving Maritza Mendez to the open Arts and Sciences seat, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. Raise your right hand. I
I, Marissa Mendez,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the student body
of the student body
while ardently executing the office
while ardently executing the office of Senator
of the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas.
Is there any other new business?
Entertain a motion to open discussion regarding student organization concerns that was presented by Chris Wilson.
Right. It's been motioned and seconded. No? Oh, you entertained, sorry. Parliamentarian Hicken.
I move to address the concerns brought about student organizations.
Second.
All right, now it's been motioned and seconded to address the concerns brought forward to us by Chris Nefredi. You have the floor.
Well, obviously there are some significant concerns that are coming from our student leaders. So I think that as the Student Government Association, we owe it to them to address those as best we can. I don't necessarily know how, so it's a good thing that we have an advisor to help us.
Any other comments? Senator Mosley.
Well, I've been working, like I said, with the SVO. We do have to use the Atria.
Ashton.
And then, but it doesn't work a lot of times because you have to go through all these documents and all these papers to fill out. And really, nobody really has the time to go. It's a very time-consuming process for a lot of these leaders. And on top of that, they want us to do it 2 weeks in advance to host, to just get a table outside DC. That's kind
Parliamentarian Hicken.
So this is just a question for Josh. It seemed like most of the concerns were about Astra, and I don't think anybody really knows if there is anything that we can do about it, and if there is anything that we can do about it, how to go about it. So do you know the answer to either of those questions?
Well, I think it's not just that. The reason why the motion was made the way it was not just Astra. I want to know every problem. So that way, as when I've been on my other half for student groups, I know what can I try to tackle, what can I do to try to make it better. And as far as the issues that were addressed by Chris, I think so. The majority was Astra, but some of the underlying issues, like the 2 weeks, that's a university issue that we need to try to figure out between student life, scheduled services, and academic affairs on what is there any rule room, can we change it? Can we make it better for the student groups? That's a university issue. And as far as the Astra experience, that is something that we can work with scheduled services on because their department is the one who Astra is facilitating. I do know that the interface is going to be hopefully changing soon, but if Astra's not working for groups, then we potentially explore other opportunities or other services that we can offer to student groups, such as a student engagement platform. But that's something that I feel like there may be more issues pertaining to student groups, and I want to know because I want to try to have the best experience possible when it comes to student groups.
Secretary McDaniel.
I'll address an issue regarding the flyers. So I'm about to have to send out flyers for officer election center elections. And one thing that I've thought that I'm going to do for myself is just basically do handbills to send out for apartment complexes. I don't know if y'all go about that or people are complaining about the ones that are by the library. And I know President Tidwell also addressed the issue of wanting to go paperless within the university. So I would see, social media is going to be your best bet in general. And I know that you do a great job on social media. What's the word I'm trying to say? Promoting these kind of situations. But for me, in a sense, social media isn't being followed as much with these student organizations. I know, especially for SGA, it's just not something it's something I'm having an issue with personally too. So I will work with you on that in a sense. Handbills for the university, I know when something's placed on my door, I always look at it. Like I said, I don't know if y'all do things based off of that, but I would love to go with you and work with that because I would like help on that situation. I'm going to stop flyers though in general though by the libraries and stuff like that. Maybe seeing if we can get on the TV screens or on websites, just putting a little synopsis when they flip through the pictures or whatever, having maybe R1 flyers or so on and so forth on the SGA or on the student lives. So we'll see how we can work through that. But yeah.
Senator Robertson.
There should probably be just an app. I don't think a lot of people look at the paper advertisements by the library, by content and stuff like that. Why isn't there an app that has a Tyler app and there's different sections for not grades, that's Canvas, so events or you can subscribe to different clubs that you're in, you can get notifications of events that are going on. Why isn't that creative? How do we that?
Secretary McDaniel.
Well, Preston could probably better explain this, but actually last semester, I think it was last semester, right? One lady came to us with that idea of basically like a higher end Patriot Nation app, but it costs like what, tens of thousands of dollars to create, wasn't it?
Josh, do you want to touch on that a little bit? Or
To a degree. I don't want to go forward.
Yeah.
There is an app. We are now the only academic institution in the UT system that is not using a student engagement platform. All the other UT schools are using a product called Campus Labs, which is collegiate link. UT Dallas is OrgSync, but they're owned by the same company. In addition, SFA, TJC, and Commerce, they're also using the platform as well. The biggest downside is the cost. It is around $30,000 to $40,000 a year, but the experience and what it provides, I do think it pays for itself, in my opinion. It does simplify. It's a one-stop shop for student groups. So student groups can advertise on it. It'd be on the app. It'd be on the website. You'd be able to register your student group through the app. So it would streamline the organization registration process a little bit, and then you can see what's going on. You can get alerts, you can get text notifications, emails, push notifications. I think they're also working on trying to integrate other campus components, such as Candies. So that way you have one app that does it all. I'm not saying that they're the best company, but there are companies out there that do provide it. But I will let everybody know that I have, as for my student work app, I have submitted a one-time request to the student fee committee for consideration, so that way we can try to get this going before the start of next semester. That's something I've been wanting since I've been here. It's just costly for the usage. But I do think that the university should invest in something like this.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
So another question for you, Josh. So since this motion doesn't have like a specific action that we need to approve necessarily, what should we do? I mean, should we endorse a student engagement platform?
You should keep focusing on what are the issues that student groups are facing, close discussion, and then if you want to go down a different route, have a different question.
Okay, should we send an SGA representative to President's Council to get specific concerns?
I think that will be a good practice. Or to have a grad training proposal.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Motion to amend the motion to send an authorized SGA representative to the President's Council meeting to get specific concerns.
It has been motioned to amend the motion, the original motion, so that we are now considering to send an authorized representative to President's Council. Parliamentarian Hicken, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear that that's what we need. Before we can make any decisions about a student engagement platform, I think that we do need some very specific concerns. I mean, we have a few here, but I just think that if we could like maybe get a list or something from the student leaders, I think that would be a really good starting point.
I'm going to point of information real quick. I used to attend the meetings as president since it was President's Council. However, they scheduled the meetings last semester when I had class. And so I stopped going. If we want to send an authorized representative, this motion is stated to where it could be anyone, but I don't know what the new times are. So, and he can't speak yet. So,
They are working on it.
okay.
And it will be published to all student groups.
Senator Robertson.
When are the meetings?
That's what Josh was just getting at, is they haven't set the time. Yeah. Secretary McDaniel.
So you're saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be an Hicken board member?
Correct. Secretary McDaniel.
So with that, there are a couple people who want to be involved in SGA but can't attend our meetings. Can we authorize them as a representative to attend the President's Council? And
Yes.
allow them to still be a part of the SGA.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
I would assume, I mean, because the point of them going to the meeting would be then to come to this meeting and report to us. So if they were unable to come to this meeting, that would seem counterproductive.
Secretary McDaniel.
Understood. But what if they met with like EV board or were able to attend like EV meetings and then we could take the information from them? I mean, I know it's a process, but it allows people that aren't able to be in part of SGA, a part of SGA, in a sense. Just a thought.
Does anyone in the Senate have comments about who they'd like to see or that the concept of having someone outside? Any comments? Is there any other discussion? All right, at this, Senator Robertson,
Would you choose the person or would you volunteer?
that's still up to y'all. Parliamentarian Hicken.
I think that the way that the motion is worded, we could, I mean, that's completely our discretion. It could be somebody in the Senate, it could be an executive board member, it could be somebody who's not an SGA. And then just like everything else, I would assume that it would come to executive board vote, and then we would handle it that way.
All right, at this time, if there's no other discussion, the motion is to send an authorized representative to President's Council. Or the motion is to amend the motion to approve in the first place. So all those approving the amendment of the motion to send an authorized representative, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Parliamentarian Hicken, you have the floor now that the motion's been amended.
Okay. So yeah, now with the new motion, I mean, we've pretty much discussed it already, so I don't necessarily want to beat a dead horse, but yeah, I think that it would be a good idea to send somebody to bring back some specific concerns for us, and then we can talk about a student engagement platform.
Senator Tucker.
Do we know people that are trying to want to come to the meeting unless I can't come, or do you have people in mind that could be able to?
Secretary McDaniel.
Zoe Jacobs, I know, can't attend SGA meetings, but she still wanted to be a part of SGA, so I would request her as one.
Senator Sweetland.
I was going to say, Senator Camaro, or Dr. Camaro, I know he wants to be involved as well.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Yeah, I think that there are a number of senators that we had last semester that were not able to attend this meeting time. So those are people that we could recommend as well. But I don't necessarily think that it's something that we have to decide right now, unless you guys want to. It's up to y'all.
Oh, sad.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the selecting of an authorized rep to be sent to President's Council, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Any other new business? Advisor comments?
We are discussing the budget, we are voting on the budget next week. I do want to remind everybody that even though it appears that there's a lot of money available, we do a good job of making sure that we spend appropriately the amount that is given to us by the committee. My practice to try to get within 5%. After 5%, we can pull off because I don't believe in overspending. So just because there's a lot, there's still things that are purchased over the summertime, and then there's a couple of weeks, and then begin the fall semester that we purchase things as well next fall semester. And so I do want to keep that in mind. And the other thing is, as a reminder, it's not reflected on the budget because it's a different process. I have submitted my recommendation to Dr. Patterson, the Chief of Student Affairs Office. My recommendation for the officer salaries and their compensation as officers. My submission included increasing the hours of the parliamentarian, treasurer, and the secretary to 15 hours. So that everybody is at 15 hours. The pay rate Still want to encourage, I said it last week, but now I'm going to formally say it. I want to encourage y'all to be involved and speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up. You are representing your college or your area. It's important to go out there and figure out what students are saying. There's no such thing as a perfect university, but that doesn't mean we can't do our best to try to make this place as best as possible. It's a good place, and I think we can do a better job. So go out there and figure out what's going on. So I've heard a few of the same people the last couple of weeks. So I really want to motivate you to you come in next week, try to speak up and get stuff done.
Any announcements? Secretary McDaniel.
I don't know if this is necessarily an announcement, but we totally skipped over student voice reports. So next week, we're gonna do everyone that I had this week and for next week. So Eagles Landing, Student Body at Large, Patriot Village, and College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Those 4 will speak next week. Do you have who you are? Do I need to say them again? I will post it. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
So did we decide that we were going to talk to the next lady?
Oh, yes.
That's right. I do have an announcement on that. She declined coming to and that was a request of her general manager, not her. Her district manager, not her. I forgot to mention that in my office report, but that is not her call, and it came from upstairs. So I have talked to her and about the issues that came up in the meeting, the inventory at Subway issue, making sure that they still had the proper bread and ingredients and everything. She said she would discuss in detail with her retail manager and make sure that was resolved. We did discuss the logistics of several of the other things that we discussed. Most of what we said was correct. The grill at Chick-fil-A has to be purchased by the university if we want to receive that. The dishwasher repair has to be purchased by the university for them to fix that issue. I made notice that we had a concern with the broadcast of vegan and vegetarian options. She said that she would try and make sure that it's more transparent on the menu, and that she would make sure that she works with the chef that those options still stay available and that they are better broadcast to the students. She's also looking into introducing an app called Byte, I believe, that would show all nutritional information of any of the meals before they are set. So they would be set about 2 weeks out. You would be able to look at what meals are available for the week and the nutritional value of any item that was on that meal. But any other announcements? Thank you, Zach. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn? Entertain motion. Senator Sweetland. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Well, I didn't do second roll call.
Let's do that now.
Oh.
Is that backwards in order? I don't have an agenda copy.
Sorry.
Would you just put second roll call?
Yeah. President Templeman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley. Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken. Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Williams. Here. Senator Washburn. Here. Senator Freshour. Senator C.J. Mosley. Here. Senator Garrison.
Here.
Senator John.
Here.
Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Meek.
Here.
Senator Robertson. Here. Senator Romero. Senator Daniel.
Here.
Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Fruit.
Here.
Senator Jackson.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Mazzock. Here. Senator Mosley. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Agudelo. Senator Hart. Senator Strong. Here. Senator Copeland.
Here.
Senator Seeley. Here.
Meeting adjourned. Yes, you may.
Yes.
So what's the official interpretation on who's deciding?
That's the point of wording the motion.
I know.
Tuesday,
Suggesting people next week.
It's not, there's no rule on it, there's nothing that says that it's gonna have to be. You can literally do it however.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
I know, yeah.